What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. As you see, I have my late night robe on. I have to do this one. Today is how a tow truck man saved my life. Now, of course, the title's a little dramatic, but I want to get this very clear. I did some of this video earlier on Instagram, but I definitely want to bring it here to YouTube. If you checked out the Instagram, it's just Erica's Classy Climb, of course. It showed a lot of clips of me at the truck lot today. Well, what you didn't see, and what you'll see in some future videos that I recorded to vlog a lot of it today, was that one of my employees had quit. Now, in their contract with me, they have to return the vehicle, the trucks, back to the dealership or back to a truck lot where it can be recovered quickly. And our person decided they were going to park it near a commercial office, which is a big no-no. And the city police towed it because it's so big. Tow truck companies were like, I'm not going to bother this truck in this parking lot. So, of course, the police, who are the next they make a lot of money in Texas off towing. If anybody will tell you about Texas, they make a ton of money off towing. So they tow it. I get there. I say, hey, look, let me get this truck. It's mine. Here's my information. They go, oh, honey, the tag that says, the Texas, it fell off when we were towing. So you can't legally drive this truck away from here. You have to tow it. So I'm at the place and I'm trying to pay, and you can't pay till the tow truck get there. I'm calling all these tow trucks. And of course, people are like, this is at noonish. And people are like, get there about 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock? It's noon right now. Yeah, go get some lunch, go enjoy yourself. And so all of a sudden I'm walking outside with the disheveled, like, oh my gosh, help me, I'm a lady look, right? And for sure, a bunch of men out there, a lot of them were older, were like, hey, what's going on, honey? What you got? You got a car out here? I'm like, no, I don't have a car at the impound. I have a semi truck. And they're all like, hold on. And so I'm talking, and they're like, one dude's like, I got a CDL. I'll drive your truck to the dealership. I'll do it. I said, sir, the tag that came off when they towed it, so we can't drive it out of here. It's got to be towed. So, of course, they're like, giving me all their friends' numbers. They're calling their friends. And one dude's like, hello, I'm Carlos, and I'm single. I just broke out laughing. I'm like, what, Carlos? This dude's like 50 years old. Anyway, so I call his friend. His friend's like, you know what? I was going to go home, but you'll be my last person today. I'll come by and get you. And I'm like, thank you, sir. That's so awesome. Like, he's like, I'll be there in 20 minutes. I'm like, really? Thank you. Now, what you guys don't know about me, I'm a little bit of an organizational nerd, and I always bring with me, wherever I go, this little bit of binder that has my LLC, like, just so somebody know it's my company, my bank, my EIN number. And my family thinks it's a joke. They're like, why is she always carrying this little folder around? What you gonna go to a business meeting in the middle of lunch? What do you need this for? This was the perfect amount of documents I needed to get the truck out of the tow dock today. So I called most of my family, like, I see, you never know when you're gonna need paperwork. You never know. So he gets there, and he looks about 50 years old, and he looks so sad. He wasn't even driving the truck. So another man was driving this giant towing truck, right? So I'm like, I just stop and I go, hey, sir, are you all right? Like, you look real tired. You having a rough day? Even though I'm stressed, even though I'm freaking out, I'm so grateful this guy came. I'm like, hey, are you all right? Dude straight turns to me and goes, my mother died on Friday. I'm going to her wake, like not the funeral, but the wake today at 7:30. And I just wanted to work a half a day. And you were here. My friend called and said there was a young lady really upset in the parking lot. So I decided to come, and you were going to be my last tow today. And I'm like, what? Damn. I was like, sir, you always can work another day. You got to take your time for your mom. This is terrible, right? So anyway, so he goes, and he's like, you know what, honey, you haven't ate all day. It's going on 1:30, almost 2 o'clock. I know you cranky. I know you tired, because he probably could tell I was getting real frustrated about to have the lady cry like, ah. So then I say, okay. He's like, go grab you some lunch. By the time we connect all this stuff and drive slow and get across town, to the dealership. Sorry, the camera's messing up. To the dealership, You be rested. We'll get it all worked out. So he finally gets over there to the dealership, and I say, the tow people, the police, when they towed it, took a piece off, like a little bar that you wouldn't think is that important. They took it off and lost some of the screws. So the guy gets there to the dealership, and I'm thinking, well, we could just put it back on and I'll buy another screw part. And they're like, maintenance is like, we're so swamped. Now, let me give you an idea. Maintenance got like 40 trucks wrapped around the building. And the man goes, who mother had just died on Friday. He said, honey, this how much this costs, this how much that costs, this how much to put some more fluids in this truck costs. They giving you a hard time. They're going to charge you about $2,000, and they ain't even going to look at it till tomorrow. I can take you over here to my garage and get this done for probably $200. Buy the parts and get it done for $200. So the people at the dealership are like, oh, we don't know, who knows where his thing is. I don't know if that's good for you. And I was like, no, this man ain't giving me the runaround. Y'all, he takes me around the corner, around the country miles. If somebody tell you they're exactly, Kerwin, you know what bar I'm talking about, right? Okay, Kerwin, then you already know what bar I'm talking about. All right, so he takes me around the corner, and the country miles, when somebody say 5 minutes away, they really 15 minutes away. So again, they towing the truck slow, 15 minutes away. We get to this truck yard, y'all. This man that I just stopped and I spoke to, and I asked him, was he okay with his mom? He owned the whole garage. This whole garage, he owned it. And everybody in there almost was his family. So they get it around the back, and they parking it, and they getting it back there, and they're like, oh honey, go inside. They got two dogs kind of barking. I'm like, oh Lord, I got my pew pew pew. I'm nervous. Now I hate to say it, but I have my pew 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 like, oh, I don't know, these Hispanic men, they might be crazy. I got to have the pew pew pew. So I get over there and I go inside. Now he done went in his office. I think he needed to decompress or something. He went in his office for a little bit. He had the door closed, and the lady out front so nice, and the kids are all nice. And his cousin goes, ma'am, do you want to come look at it again? So I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna get the new piece, and I'm gonna do this, and okay, it's gonna run you about $325. Now I know y'all don't think trucks are as expensive as I'm making it, but when he said $325, I thought he meant $3,250. I about fell out, just fell out. And I said, $3,000? And everybody's laughing. They're like, no, honey, goodness, $325. $325, honey, we ain't gonna charge you like that. That's crazy. So I said, okay, and everybody's laughing at me, and there's a black guy in there, he's laughing at me. And so what's funny is the man comes back out, like he took a minute off. He said, okay, hey, this is my wife. This is my cousin and them, and we're all gonna leave, to go to. So we're not gonna do it tonight, but we'll do it tomorrow, and it'll be done by noon. It'll be done by 11 a.m. honestly. And I was like, I just realized like everybody in this office is related to this man. This man that just cut me the biggest deal ever and showed me how much everything cost, because he probably thought this was my first truck. And when he shook my hand again, he was like, well, honey, how much is and he said, he repeated himself, my mom died, so I'm sorry, I forgot you said something. And I was like, oh, sir, you need to take a break. I was like, oh no, I own 8 trucks. I'm trying to get my 9th truck, but I have drivers flying in from Nashville, and they're going to get in the car. They got to get in these trucks and drive off. And the guy said, you own 8 trucks, baby, and you don't know nothing? I said, man, I don't know nothing. He said, you don't know how to drive or nothing? I said, oh, they would have got you pretty good, right? So he's laughing. And anyway, so they explained some more stuff to me, and they write it all out. But they're like, yeah, this is how much these pieces cost. You need to know how much these pieces cost in the future. Don't let nobody give you a hard time about this stuff. And he's like, so they go get their business cards. They're like, look, my wife handles all the DOT inspections and notary and any of that stuff you need. I handle the towing. My cousin back there handles all the repairs. Anything you need, you let us know. You can bring all your trucks by. We'll give you a discount, whatever. And in that moment, y'all, I just felt such peace. Not because, hey, I'm getting such a deal and all this family there. Just seeing there are other Black people in there working with them, and they're Hispanic. And like, you get so much negative stereotypes about San Antonio being ghetto, and the Hispanic people and the Black people don't get along in San Antonio. They didn't care about none of that. They were just a family running a nice garage, a big one at that, like really big on the back, and helping somebody out that they realized was having a hard day, and they're having an even harder day. The dude's mom died, and he's still working because there's that much work in San Antonio. And I just was shocked. Like, his cousin was writing it up all trying to be professional. And I thought it was funny because he's in, like, you ever see somebody when the yard mechanic, when they got the cigarette in their mouth and they talking about, well, it cost you about blah, 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 blah. You could tell that's what his cousin was like. But because, they looking at him, he got a little piece of paper. He was writing it down. She said, write it out big for her, write neat. And he was like, okay, we're going to buy this part. I'm going to get your oils flushed. And it was super funny because in my mind, I thought, this is the same guy that probably, if I wasn't here, if it was like another Hispanic guy or another trucker, he'd probably be talking with the cigarette out of his mouth, like, yeah, I got you. And I was very happy. So I had good reviews of San Antonio and of that. I'm totally pissed with that driver for the cost of the impound from the city and from stuff. I'm thinking I might either put it on this dude's credit or I might take him to small claims court. I want to be let that go and be like, hey, grateful it worked out super cheap, but do y'all know how much it costs to tow those big trucks? It's close to $500, sometimes $600. So, this guy really cut me a deal today on the towing it, because he towed it not only from there, towed it to Doggett Freightliner, then towed it another all the way over to his shop, and he only gonna charge me $300. So he was like, yo, I'm gonna charge you $500 for the tow just because we done went all over. And I was like, I'm okay with that, because everybody else on the phone was quoting me $600, $700. Now, I want to take my foot and drop it up in that driver's I'm like, now, you signed that contract to drop that truck back off. You lucky. I had to PPP on me. I had to be calm. I was like, nope, don't do it. I knew where his apartment was and everything, but I said, no, not today. But I just had to tell y'all that to me is being a real blessing. When you have, when you have the power to hire your wife, and he had a little, 12-year-old little chubby son in there working, and he's all, oh, ma'am, you want any water? We got water bottles that are cold, and he bringing me the water bottles, and the cousin in the back, he had one that's probably an uncle. He had a stick, and he'd be telling him, okay, back up. He had the tow trucks, and he's telling this giant stick. I don't even know where he got it from. And he's like, all right, go to the left, go to the right. And it was so funny because it was like watching this man who, I don't even know if he fixed things or not, but he was out there with a stick telling the boys where to park their truck and where to back up. And I thought it was the funniest thing and cute. But it was really a family affair. And I just want, and the best part on the back end was there was a black dude in there, and he had 2 trucks getting worked on real quick. Like, he's like, oh yeah, these people are great. They do good work. They help you out. And I looked outside. The black dude had a Maserati. Now, I'm not judging black dude, but he got 2 trucks. I said, well, how many trucks you got? He said, I got 2. I said, you got a Maserati, baby? He's like, yeah. He said, what you got? I was like, I got a Ford Fiesta outside. And they laughing. They're like, you got 8 trucks and a Ford Fiesta? I said, yeah, that's how you stay rich, baby. You can't get the Maserati too soon. So I just felt good about it. I felt good about taking my business there. And man, it's good to see good people make it. And if you got a system in place and like everybody's got their position, the wife does this, you do that, the cousin does this, everybody's in their own little roles, it rolls so much smoother. It just does. And I had good reviews. But if you get on YouTube long enough, they think, oh, all the Hispanic people are mad with the black people. All these people don't work together and nobody will help us. And that's just not true. People are people. And I honestly think the guy was having such a rough day. If I hadn't said anything, if I'd just been like, okay, just told me over here and ignored the fact that he looked absolutely sad in the face, he might have not did all that. He might not explain how much each piece costs, and shame on the city for losing this piece that, you need to turn the car, and they cranked it to make sure everything worked. And they said, out here that, here's where this fluid's coming from, and you need to, we're going to change this and all that stuff. And if I hadn't stopped and just to acknowledge him as a person, that might have not happened. And honestly, if I hadn't stopped, the tow truck guys were sitting underneath the shade of a tree. And over here's the fence where people park. And I think maybe the city makes them all park over here so they don't bother you while you're coming in to pay for your tow. I went over there. Every one of the old dudes were respectful. Like, hey, honey, what's wrong? You all right? You need a tow? Where your car at? I said, I don't got a car, sir. I got a semi. They're like, you can't drive it out. I said, sir, I don't got no CDL. So I think it's one of those things where if you just acknowledge, you know what I'm saying? If you just acknowledge people, like none of those guys had to bend over backwards to try to help me. Like they all were quoting 5 o'clock times. Knowing 5 o'clock in San Antonio in traffic is bananas. And they were like, nah, let me call my daughter. One dude called his daughter and she was like, well, Daddy, you know I'm at the thing getting my truck worked on. My truck ain't done till 3 o'clock. I'll come get her after 3. And till 3. It's very interesting. Yes. Yes. Gordon Pound. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Uh-oh. Did I lose internet? Uh-oh. I think I might have lost some internet. No, it's back. Hold on. I think it's is it buffering bad, you guys? Looks like it's buffering bad. Let me see. Yeah, it's crazy. So PITA, P-I-T is what is, go ahead and spell it out. What is P-I-T? Well, but the point of my whole story is I was gone for 10 seconds. Man, I got a for real tan. My arms are burnt up from sitting out there. I was hot. I was feeling crispy. Everybody's like, Ericka, wear sunblock. I'm like, I don't need sunblock. Then I was out in San Antonio today. I was like, help, I need sunblock. Help me, somebody. But you know, the thing of it is just watching people be good people and do great work. You know, there's a lot of people who would call mechanics and tow truck guys, pain in the ass. A lot of people tow truck guys like bad guys, and they're not. You know, they're just out there working. They're just out there making a living like everybody else. And there's so many. What's funny is today, if you guys haven't been noticing, the next 3 guys that pick up my trucks are Africans. Now I know everybody's like, Ericka, it don't matter who picks up your truck. It don't matter who's the driver. But I just want you to get that concept through your head. I'm an African-American woman, and there are 3 African guys with the company that I'm with. They're on a visa or something like that, and they're here driving trucks. And I was talking to the guy today, and you know who he thought I was? When he came to pick the keys up, he thought I was a salesperson. He was like, oh, you work here with the trucks? Oh, that's cool. I said, no, honey, I'm the owner of this truck. And he said, what? So he starts smoking a cigarette. He's like, okay, boss lady. And starts, you know, with a really thick African accent. He was cracking me up. But it was interesting because he just looked at me way different. Now, the second part that got really hilarious is when I went over to the gas station because I needed him to fill a truck. And I said, listen, you know, you could do me a great favor if you would go ahead. Oh, yeah, this is my night robe. This is my night robe. I had to cover it up a little bit. I was like, if you could go ahead and take the second truck and go get it some gas too. And he was like, okay, boss lady, you know, whatever you say, boss lady. And it was pretty funny. But go across the street. And so the Indian woman who clearly owns this gas station, somebody in her family owns this gas station. And she's looking. She said, oh, you're back again, honey? I said, no. I needed my driver to fill up my second truck. Wait, you drive? Like, she acted like she wasn't hearing me. So she was like, you're so young to drive. I said, I don't drive. You don't drive? I said, no, I don't drive. I don't have a CDL. You own the truck? I said, yes, I own the truck. I own a bunch of trucks. How? Now, behind me in this gas station line, it's a very busy gas station by Converse, is at least 6 white dudes, truck drivers, like, if they don't come on, if they don't shut up that yapping up there, them 2 women, and come on. And she didn't even care. This how you know she was either part owner of that gas station, her uncle or her daddy owned that gas station. Because she was up there like, how much is it? Where do you get them? What kind of contract? And I'm thinking to myself, if you could see the woman's eyes, and I've seen this several times now, when you talk to someone who just assumes whatever they may assume I'm a woman, I got kids, or I'm kids out of wedlock. Who knows what they're thinking when they see people? And when I said I own 6 trucks, I told her 6 just to get on out of the gas station, but it's more than that now. She was just like, what? Like she just saw stripes. So I just thought it was funny. I thought it was funny because I think that it's an immigrant thing, right? Between her and the African was like, right? And I don't know what they hear about African Americans. Who knows what they hear? Who knows what they see on TV? Propaganda is real. They probably think we're all lazy, whatever. But when you could just see the difference in the tone. And I told you I saw this same look in the eyes when my dentist, who's a dental surgeon, I was basically telling him to hold on. My drivers were calling me. He's like, drivers? I said, yeah, my truck drivers. You own trucks? I said, yeah. He looks down and he's like this with his glasses. And he says, well, I own a truck too. It's in the oil fields, just one. I said, well, I own six. This is before I got the other two. But I was like, I just own six. He was like, huh. He's a white Hispanic in Austin, but he looks like a white man. You wouldn't know unless when he told you his last name is Rodriguez, then you're like, oh. It is the look. It's the look of like, you just blew my mind. So, because I've heard stories. So one of the guys is from they're actually three brothers. One of the guys is from, what is the name of that country? Not Sudan. It's below that. Angola? It's somewhere, but the other three are brothers. And then there's a guy coming, he's from the Ukraine. So it just is what it is, right? So but he was very interesting. Kenya, that may be right. Kenya may be the right answer. No, one guy is from Angola though. Something Angola. And then the other ones are from Kenya. But I think Kenya is the right answer. But they're very interesting because he was like, basically all three of the brothers got a visa to come work with under this guy. And they're like, we definitely want to own our own trucks. I said, well, how long y'all been in America? A year, but you can buy trucks. And I said, yeah, I can buy trucks. You can buy trucks. You can buy anything you want. So it was interesting. It was interesting just in the conversation. So they even were like, hey, can we give you 20K and we just make payments to you? And I said, well, maybe we can talk about that. But at the end of the day, I think there's a book called The Slight Edge, and it's so important just in this concept of today and other things. It's like, if you do 20% more than most people, you're like, you're jumping over people leaps and bounds. And that's in being kind. That's in just doing good work. That's in being positive. That's just about in anything. And I was just so proud of that guy for having that company. I was kind of proud of my driver saying they only been in America a year, but they want to go ahead and get their foot in. And I was at the stop today. I know I see y'all throwing countries in there, but I'm thinking it's Kenya. I saw some Indian guys today and they were like haggling about the price. And what was funny is the cashier's like, we don't haggle here. There is no haggle here. And so they're holding up the line. And I just asked the guy, I said, listen, I know you just remade this key. Can I just pay you? Can you just go over to the cashier window and give me a break? I'm just trying to get out here, right? So the guy goes to the window and says, come on, this Indian guy's haggling you for 20 minutes. Just take this card so she can get out of here. So they take the card and I get out of here. And, the thing of it is just being nice to people, honestly. Just being nice. It's a book called The Slight Edge. It's just truth. Most people do very bare minimum. So if you do a little bit more, it makes you like you're doing exceptional. You could actually just be a runaway train of results if you do. So that's the story today, how a truck driver saved me. He saved me. He saved me $2,000. I mean, he might even save me more because honestly, Doggett has been backed up. And I think it's the summer too. Every summer is crazy. But I think they've just been backed up for 2 weeks on everybody. No, it's Kenya. It's up past Sudan. It's not Sudan or South Sudan, which I do know the difference. There is trust me, there's somebody at our church and they make sure you know different. South Sudan. Yeah, this robe is silk and it's lovely, Dre. You should get one. What else was I going to tell y'all today? I think that's basically it. But most people ask me funding questions and how to create your own investment club questions. And I got those in the links in the description. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but like if you try to join some groups this year and you can't get in or you don't like the rules, make your own thing. Okay. Just protect yourself. Okay. How do you protect yourself? By appropriately advertising and not guaranteeing results, right? Because who knew we were going to have $1,000+ expense today? Who knew? On top of that too, just expectation of people. Like, it's one of those things when you talk to people, it's like how you do anything is how you do everything. And that driver was lazy. And then just to think that he parked by an area where it's like, there's a sign, not even like walking distance. It said, don't park here. Don't park here. And he parked there. And I was like, how you do anything is how you do everything. And when he told me about his life being tough and and he having financial problems. I see why. How you do anything is how you do everything. If you consistently do something one way, you're going to have problems. There's a saying like, if you don't ask people for forgiveness, you can get away with it a lot of times. Like, ask for forgiveness, not for permission. And I agree to some degree. You can get away with a lot of it. You can get away with a lot of it, but it will catch up to you. You have to recognize it will catch up to you. So let me see what some of y'all are saying in here. Got to go. Keep up the work. Good night. Have a good night. Well, good luck at work. I know the look you're talking about, the look of breaking down Black stereotypes. I get it when people realize I'm well-spoken, respectful, I have no kids or baby daddy at 29. Oh, yeah. I remember I was somewhere, and the lady was like, oh, so how old are your kids? And I was like, what? Now, this is before I gained some weight. Let's keep it a buck. I was smaller then, and I was like, what made you think I had kids? And she just froze. She just froze. I was like, I don't have any children. I'm not married. And I do that all the time just to make it like an extra. I'm like, I'm not married, so I don't have any kids. Why have kids if you're not married? And it's like just being a little bit of an a-hole to people. What's up, L. Lee Vickers? It costs to learn. Go to small claims court so you can pick up the bill. I am debating it. I was talking to somebody and they're like, if it ain't $2,000, Ericka, just eat it. And I'm like, just eat the cost, Ericka. And I'm like, it is, but come on, dude. Come on. It's like, there has to be some kind of lesson in there for him. Do you think? Surprise the Black man and woman on the truck. Yeah, I think that was part of it. They have work visas for immigrants, truck drivers to come over. Yes, they do. So if I hire somebody, I only 1099 them. So I can't get them a visa. But some of these companies that hire them, they hire them as company drivers so they can get visas. Ericka, were you at the Shell station across from Interstate on Doggett Freightliner? Yes, I was, Nick Taylor. Were you there today? What were you doing out there today? Now, Nick, if you were out there, why didn't you come get me, Nick? Nick, help. They don't expect us to own anything. I think that's part of it. Let's see. I was a tow truck driver for the city of San Antonio contractor many years ago. City Towing and Associates, Franklin and Lewis. Oh my goodness. Nick Taylor know all the people. And you got a 10, yeah. Let's see what else y'all had in here. Just found your channel. Let me know when you're going out of your country. Okay. All right. So anyway, yes, very important bar in the truck for sure. Nick Taylor, I thought you lived in Corpus Christi on the islands, kayaking every day. You should have came up there and help. But yeah, to me, San Antonio is, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, San Antonio is huge. And I always used to talk smack like San Antonio ain't nothing. And after driving 3-4 different ways across San Antonio, taking 30 minutes each time, I was like, oh, heck no. Y'all can have San Antonio, okay? For real. Y'all can have San Antonio. But lesson learned today. And this one guy said, you know what? I only hire immigrants to drive my trucks. And I was like, dude, you can't be like that. But I kind of understand what he's saying. He's like, the lazy drivers, the guys who want guaranteed pay, but only want to drive barely 3,000 miles a week and just all kind of stuff. Now, there's one guy, he has team drivers every freaking week. His settlements are like $5,000. Them dudes are driving their little hearts away. I'm like, man, would you give them a day off? You got them driving all day and all night? Good Lord, give them a break. Golly. But you can make good money out of it. I mean, I put the link for the trucking course there. Y'all can look at it for yourself, but you gotta be careful out here. It's just like learning a new industry, and it's good and it's bad that I'm a woman, because I can ask a bunch of questions where somebody keep explaining and tell me the price of something, and oh, it's this price, honey. Oh, it's this. Well, honey, here, look at this piece of paper. This is how much it costs, and this is how much it costs, and here you go. And it's almost condescending the way they talk to me, but it's almost good because it's like, well, girl, we ain't gonna charge that much. We'll just charge you $300. Don't you worry. And I love it because I don't think they would have, if I was a man, they'd be like, whatever. And I was outside earlier and there was like a man hollering on the phone, hollering about the charges they were going to pay, make him pay for his truck. And I was like, you see right there, that's too much anger. Take it down a notch, sir. I wouldn't want to work with you. Yes, in North Texas, Peterbilt is king. My little nephew, who's 12, loves Peterbilt and cannot understand why I'm buying Freightliners. He plays trucking games where the trucks drive across the highway. It's crazy. No, ma'am, I moved out of San Antonio, but we tow a lot of trucks into there. Doggett, Freightliner, Rush, Peterbilt. Mm-hmm. A bunch of people quit where I work to go work for Peterbilt. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Yara Lee, I'm for real. Listen, yes, adding I'm not married as a reason for having no kids really blows mine this day, which is kind of sad. It is. It's sad. Now, when I'm in the South, when I'm in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and I go, oh, honey, I'm not married, so I don't have any kids. Girl, good for you. Leave them kids with a husband, right? And I laugh and we just laugh it off and it ain't no big thing. But when you say it, Virginia, DC, closer to New York, when you say that, no, Ohio, Detroit, people look at you like you a jerk. Like, how dare you say that? And I'm like, that's kind of how it comes. You get married and then you have a baby. I'm just saying, you know. Oh yeah, they're condescending, but it's like, okay. Like I'm learning every number of all these parts. Like there was even a Hispanic guy in there, he was flirting with me, and I'm like, sir, I'm in line just trying to wait. It was a really long line. So he's like, hey, what's your name? I'm like, Ericka. Hey, what you waiting for? You buying a part? And it's just going on and on. He's like, what do you need? I can work on vehicles. What do you need? I'm like, oh, I gotta get a key. I'm good. Okay, well, you can put my number in your phone if you need any work. And I'm like, I already said I'm good. What you want, man? It was super funny, but I mean, the thing of it is people think you don't know something. Even better. I do have warranties on my truck, Street Shark C7, but you know what happens? Depending on, see, like towing, if they didn't tow it and they didn't take the part off, so technically under the warranty, they don't have to put the part back on. Not for a discount, right? And so mostly the warranty is like, we'll tell you where are you at. We'll tell you. So that was my whole point today. My whole thing was like, hey, driver, just bring it over. He was like, oh, it got towed. He's like, I don't see it out there. I mean, like this guy's like playing airhead with me. And I said, hey, I got a warranty. No worries. I'll go get it towed. Well, too late. The city police had already towed it. So, I mean, warranties work for certain things and you have to read between the fine print. But yeah, by the time you call the warranty, you get the part off discount and it's a runaround. And the thing of it is I have drivers literally flying in like the next day trying to drive the truck. So I need it repaired quickly. Anthony Bolton, I never forget when I was doing orientation at a new job, we had to tell something about ourselves. I told him I was single with no kids and literally a room with 20 people were shocked. Anthony, listen, I'm going to tell you this. I hate to say it. When I meet a black man over 35 that has no kids, it's I'm like, okay, look at you, baby, do what you do, like. And it's not because I think lowly of black men at all. I just noticed a lot of guys get caught up. Some girl gets them early, caught up. Like you even hear the scenario when they tell you about. I'm like, oh, so is the woman working? No, she ain't got a job. I'd be like, oh, she was that kind of girl. She got you. I mean, I just hear all kind of stories from people, but I've literally, let's be honest, if you're a good looking guy too, sometimes people are like, oh, you don't got no kids? What? Like, people be saying some silly mess. They really do. And I think when I worked at Lowe's, oh my God, everybody was talking about the baby mama drama in there. And what was another place I worked that had a lot of drama? Oh, Papa John's. This guy had been living with his baby mama for like 7 years. He done bought a whole house. He wouldn't put her name on it. I mean, it was a mess. It was a mess. And these are white guys. I mean, it was a mess. So I think it's shocking. I ain't about to stand for no DCVA slander. Clean it up. No, listen. The reason I'm going to New York this weekend, because I had to delay Italy for a week, but the reason I'm going to New York for this weekend is because I was on a live and they were talking smack about the South. They're like, oh, I don't know if I'll do a show in Texas or Georgia, because the South has got a lot of racism. And I'm like, y'all live in Boston. You're joking, right? It's Boston. It's pretty racist. And like it's different. You guys are segregated where you live. You have Italian neighborhoods. You're not allowed to really live there. You know what I mean? Down in the South, we'll live next door by each other. If we don't like each other, we don't speak. Like, oh, okay, you good. It's a different level. It's a different level. Anthony Bolton, I'll be 36 in July. Hey, you know what I'm saying? People's standards are very low, but also, yeah, Texas is not racist to me. It's really not. It's really, really not. Like I'm not even joking. Texans are cocky, but it ain't racist. I've traveled to Alabama. It ain't even that racist in parts of Alabama. I've traveled to South Carolina. I've to me experienced more racism again in Boston and probably when I was talking about Detroit. I mean, literally, I was in Alabama, and I was in Alabama, in Hoover, Alabama, and I was talking about, oh, I need to go somewhere. It was a particular building, and I want to go to, I want to go to Pensacola, Florida. And there was a straightaway road, highway, and then there was a curve around. And the straightaway road is like 4 hours straight, boom, done. The other one was like 5, 6 hours. I was like, who would take that? That's stupid. And I started talking to the white people there. They're like, don't take the straight road, take the curve. And I'm like, okay, don't take the straight road. Like every white person was scaring me to death. I literally told you guys when we were in Alabama, my mom drove her vehicle from Birmingham to Huntsville, and it got a flat tire. Now she has a BMW, no flat tires. And pretty much the tow truck guy stopped. He was like, honey, what you doing? Because he saw her in her uniform walking around her vehicle. He's like, you got no flat tires. Do not stop here. Keep going. Do not stop till you get to Huntsville. So my mom's like freaking out, like, what the hell? She tells the first BMW dealership with the guy sold her. He's like, oh no, you don't stop between that in between town. You just come straight through. And I'm like, there's real racism in some real places. And so when people sit here and go, Texas is racist, Paris, Texas is racist for sure. It's got some racism. They got fights going on there still to this day. But I'm telling y'all, below San Antonio, Nick Taylor can tell you, below San Antonio, Jose rules the land here, okay? Below San Antonio, you are the minority. like in Houston. And Houston's very diverse. Let's be very clear. Houston, the reason people complain about Houston is it doesn't have one particular like culture. Houston has Hispanics, it has Koreans, it has all kind of Africans, different African groups. There's so many Ethiopian restaurants, there's so many Nigerian, there's like every type of food you can think of, it's down there, and groups of people. I mean, it's just different. Vitor, Texan, Orange, Texas, Lucan, Texas. Yeah, okay, so here, prime example. I'm in Austin, Texas, near Pflugerville. And because the way the economy is, black people at one point in time were 30% near Austin because we had 19 free towns in a circle originally here. Then got 20% black people moved to Manor. So now they're big population in Manor. They're big population in Round Rock, like 15%. Then they're like 10% in Georgetown. Now you may think that doesn't sound like a lot, Ericka. It does. When a town's 50,000 people, it's a lot. When a town's barely 40,000 people, it's a lot. But then there's none. It's like there's none in Florence. Like, look at me in my eyes, none in Florence and Taylor. And I was like, what's going on in Florence and Taylor? That seems weird. It seems like the black people go around it and then live in clean. They go, oh, well, Florence and Taylor back in the day were Klan land. And I was like, oh. Williamson County has the reputation of, you may get 5 to 10 in Austin, but you're going to get 10 to 15 in Williamson County. So they're very, very particular out there in Georgetown. So I always tell people, careful. Depends on where you're at. New York is racist too. I believe that. But that 9 times out of 10, my whole point is, like, there was a news story in Houston where it was a Hispanic man with his cowboy hat on, his black wife, and they were looking at a house. And this white lady came out and threw a brick through their car. Now, she had been drinking. So they called the police, and the police were like, well, it's you say versus her say. I'm going to just write up a citation. Well, the ladies, the black woman, Hispanic couple said, no, but we got a dash cam in our car. You can record her, showing her. So all of a sudden, the police officer's like, shit. And then her white boyfriend's like, can I just pay you to, like, not have to arrest her? Can I just pay them money? And I'm like, this woman was so mad that they were looking at a house in her neighborhood beside her, across from her, that she threw a brick. Like, she took actual bricks and threw it through their car window, y'all. I mean, and East Texas is a write-off. East Texas is a no-no because East Texas borders Louisiana. And for whatever reason, East Texas, when you meet people from East Texas, and I'll tell you a sad story. There was a girl, she's half black, her brother's half black. Their mom died when they were young, and their family lives in East Texas, and they basically said, we'll send the people y'all living with money, but you can't live here. You dig? East Texas be like that, so it'd be a little bit like sketch. Like, oh, prime example, I think I've told y'all this before. We had a friend go get her prison training, what do you call them, correctional officer training, out there near East Texas. And she was going around the first of the month. They said, now look, I ain't gonna say her name, I don't want to get in trouble. Go get whatever you need from the store, go get it from Target, go get it today. It's about to be first of the month. And she like, I'm not rushing, I just drove all the way over from Austin. I'm gonna go tomorrow. Now, tomorrow was the first of the month. Now, what happened when she got there, y'all? She said it looked like Children of the Corn. It looked like U-Turn. She said it looked like Deliverance. She was like, everybody was staring at her. And she said she was actually grateful she wore her correctional officer uniform because they looked at her. It looked a little bit longer, and then they went on about their business. And she said, never again. I mean, me and my mom drove through East Texas. Now we always drive up over by Dallas. Whenever my family comes, I'm always telling my family, don't drive. Just fly here. Why are you driving? That's ridiculous. Driving all these hours. But it happens. No, Virginia got some history too now, baby. Don't. I'm from the Carolinas. North Carolina was where we were bowdy with guns. Virginia had some bowdy history moments with black people with guns in the mountains. But North Carolina, we didn't play that. You can see all our videos. Is that new lipstick? I have like 2 or 3 lipsticks up here. I just pick which one I want and I wear them. So yes. Pay with a foot in the butt. That's right. Man, I used to stay in Austin for 2 years on a work assignment. I stayed near the airport. Oh, baby, why they do you like that by the airport? Don't do you like that. One of my mentors runs a large towing outfit in Georgetown. I'm keeping my behind in the South, never lived anywhere else. Houston's a madhouse. Houston's just, that driving is just too much for me, Nick. I can't understand it in Houston. Like, and everybody's like, oh, Austin's so white. Why are you saying that? And it's not that Austin's so white. In comparison to the bigness of Dallas, like, you can fit Atlanta, the actual city of Atlanta, in South Dallas. Like, Dallas is so huge and Houston's so huge that I live in Austin. I could drive like most sides of town and know where I'm at. I think the other week I found a new side of town. I was like, I ain't never been over here. But Austin's not that big. It's like, I just like it. It's not as small as Charlotte, by no means, but it reminds me of being in a smaller city like Charlotte. That's why I stay in Austin. Nick, it's not weird anymore. We done ran all the weird people off. It's just hipsters now. San Antonio is the 7th largest city in the United States. Do you know which one's the first, Nick? Technically in the books, the first? It's Birmingham, Alabama. Because Birmingham, Alabama keeps annexing everything around it. So it's not that Alabama is necessarily the big, they just keep annexing everything around it. Hipsters can be weird. So, but yeah, so yeah, that's just that's just it. That's just the combo for the night. I just had to say a tow driver saved my life. He helped me out. And you guys gotta just acknowledge people when you see them and be, learn new stuff. Charlotte's bigger. Charlotte, I'm from the Carolinas. I just visited Charlotte last couple weekends. I feel like Austin's still bigger than Charlotte by for real, for real. I think Charlotte, when you talk about the sprawl, like the neighborhood suburbs, yeah, may feel bigger, but oh no. So Texas is um, very white in Austin and in Dallas. But anything below San Antonio, the coin flips. So San Antonio is very Hispanic now. At some point, San Antonio used to be very black, but it's very Hispanic now. Like we jokingly say, they really lost the Alamo for real, for real. Houston is just a melting pot. And the way Houston doesn't look like anywhere else in Texas, every time I talk to somebody white, I go, oh yeah, Houston. They're like, oh, Houston's ghetto. Houston's sketchy. Like they always have something negative to say about Houston. But when you go, Houston's just Houston's about money. Houston's just about money. Everywhere you look, there's black business owners, there's Korean business owners, there's just all kind of business owners in Houston. I hope you do take him to small claims court. That'll show him he had very specific instructions, and he signed a contract. So my thing is, I'm trying to go get the contract to show. Contract says if you decide that you want to quit the job, you just drop it back off at a designated location, which of course was Doggett because his home base is San Antonio. That's right. You never know what you can say. Good idea to send the guy flowers who lost his mom. I thought about that. I have their cards and their location. Thinking about that might be something good to do tomorrow. Listen, Nick Taylor, I already told people, if I was married with some kiddos, I'd be in Georgetown. I'd be in Georgetown on like 10 acres because I've been out there looking for land left and right. I'd build me a little barn dominium. I have my kids out on four-wheelers, but who knows? Might have to do that in North Carolina. I don't know. But the traffic is terrible. Oh, thank you, Princess Lancefield. Just want to show you love tonight. Thank you for the $12 super chat. Anthony Bone, not everyone's weird in Austin. They really aren't. I mean, really, really right now, Austin, whenever you go downtown, is just tourists showing up everywhere. And when you talk to them, they're like, oh, do you know where this is? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to live here. It's over there. I was born in Houston, haven't been back in a hot minute. It's different by the year. Yeah, here Houston was hood, but when I saw it wasn't bad. It really isn't. It really it depends on what part of Houston you're in. Like right now, I want to go work with a guy who's renovating homes in like the 5th Ward, and it's going gentrified so fast that I'm like, I need to get in there. Listen, y'all can have Mississippi. If I was ever going to move south, like let me tell you, whenever, I hate to say this, whenever you meet a guy here and he's from another state, you always ask what state, because just in case that man gets homesick, that's probably where y'all gonna go. So whenever I meet a guy, he's from Chicago or New York or Virginia, not Virginia, I would say Connecticut, and they start talking to me, I'd be like, I already don't even want to date them in my head. I'd be like, because if you get homesick, we got to move back to your state. And there were two guys, and half their family were here in Austin, and they were complaining about how expensive it was. I come to find out the whole family moved from Mississippi. So the brother was the head manager at Papa John's. His sister came, and she was working. And then they had 2 other cousins come, and their mom was home watching all the kids because they all had kids. And I thought, damn, how bad is Mississippi? The whole family packed up. But I'm starting to meet people from Ohio like that, where the son came, then the daughter came, then the parents followed the children because Ohio was just nothing going on. I'm seeing a lot of that. Never ever hire a truck driver who's not stable. They told me that in trucking class I took last week. Man, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you 2 things about trucking. You have guys who are 23 to 26 and guys who are in their 50s and cranky. No in between. You just don't have any in between because you have young guys who are hungry. They got their CDL. They ready to drive, drive, drive. It's a lifestyle. They stacking money. They already got their parents' house, their grandma house, whoever house. And then you have like in the 30s, it's very few, right? They start having kids. Something happened. They start wanting to drive local. But then on the flip side, you got all these dudes who are in their 50s and they're pretty much like, damn, I need to save up or pay off debt. Like I had this one guy interview on the phone, and basically what he said is he's just trying to pay off his house and pay off his something else he had so he can go sit down and retire. And I'm like, with what money? But you never know. You know, come visit Texas. Come visit all the cities is what I tell people. Mississippi ain't bad. Hey, but you can have it though. Down Chicago, downtown Chicago is one of the most beautiful cities, and the suburbs is fine. Depends on what part of town you live. Well, let me be very clear, Rita. I'm just saying my grandpa lives on 92nd Street, and it's actually not bad. He has a huge house, huge backyard, huge garage. And what I'm saying is, I'm a Southern girl from the Carolinas. No matter how many places I've lived in, as far as um, being well traveled, well lived, if somebody here, which I've literally seen three girls all get married, and a year and a half later, each guy wanted to go back to their town. Like one guy wanted to go back to Georgia, Macon, Georgia. One guy wanted to go back to Florida. One guy wanted to go back to Ohio. And these poor girls are all Texas born girls. And they were like, yeah, I'm moving with my husband. I'm like, it was like a Gladys Knight song, leaving on the midnight train to Georgia or something. I mean, I don't got time for that. I don't got time for somebody all of a sudden like, I'm homesick for New York. Well, good luck, babe. Good luck. I ain't trying to go. The highest I will go up, I made it very clear. The highest I will go up is Virginia. The farthest west I will go is Denver, Colorado. And I need to stay in the Southern Belt. I don't want to do Mississippi and Alabama again. I lived in Alabama, loved the hills. It was different. Whew, Florida would be exhausting for me. I mean, I've met dudes from Florida. They a little different. I don't know what's going on in South Florida. A guy I talked to in San Diego said he wanted to move back there. So glad it didn't work out. I don't want to move to California. Listen, just be honest. I mean, this is for real. I'm from Ohio. It's depressing when I go back. See, listen, there are whole parts of Ohio people are leaving left and right. And to me, that's a sign. Like when I was in North Carolina, I think like 20 of the nurses in Raleigh were all from Ohio. I'm like, damn, did y'all all apply at the same time? What are good places in North Carolina to buy acres? Everywhere. There's like 100 counties. North Carolina is long, like Texas is long like this. So to drive across North Carolina from the beach to the mountains, yeah, you could do it in one day, but you pretty much would crash out by the time you got to the other end. I just saw Gladys Knight play jazz festival for real. I'd rather live in this world than live in. I mean, listen, again, love could be that strong where you're like, you know what, sure, I'll go live back in wherever, but I ain't trying to live like that. Never go back to New Jersey. Love Texas. Hey, I feel you. New Jersey get a lot of bad rap. Is San Antonio a good place to buy houses? A lot of places in Texas are a good place to buy houses. What is your definition of a good house, though? Because Texas, let me tell you something. I hate to tell y'all, Texas got some ugly ass designs out here. The best thing they do is the limestone brick, but everything else you'd be like, ooh, who designed this? There's like a batch of houses around the 80s and 90s. They're just horrible designs in Texas. How are the women in Houston? This guy said, you gotta listen to LRA movement. Sometimes he'll be like, I don't know what side of town he's on, but sometimes he'll be talking about some ghetto women in Houston. I've seen some ghetto people. I've seen the rap music culture, but there's also a lot of New Orleans women down there. There's also just everything. And what's funny is I have a white friend who's big on two-stepping, and I go, why don't you go marry one of these little tiny Hispanic girls that dance all the time? He's like, well, I just don't want to be with their family. And I'm like, and they do have big families depending on what part of Texas you're in. A lot of people in South Carolina from Ohio too. Yeah, they have a bumper sticker in Charleston that says, don't buckeye my state. Like apparently so many people from Ohio moved to South Carolina that they are tired of them. Yes, see, Anthony Bolin, you're exactly right on truck drivers. My cousin drove for 4 years until he was 27. He made enough money to move to Houston and chill. Yeah, it's something about getting the right amount of money. Because I've met guys who literally will have TVs in every room and just ridiculousness. Uh-oh. The internet's pissed with me today. So, um, yeah, the internet's pissed with me today. So I'm going to go ahead and bounce. But that was just my recap of today. Um, there's just a lot of opportunity. And when I say a lot of opportunity, when I see other groups of people just starting to dominate an industry, it makes me very cautious. I don't know if I remember telling y'all that street corner stores make on average the collective of corner stores makes 600 billion. Is it 600 billion? Yeah, 600 billion out of the United States. So when y'all talk about them corner stores, them folks are making a lot of money off them corner stores. So these blue states ruin their own state, move down here, and then try to ruin ours. Yeah. So anyway, y'all, I gotta go. I'm tired. Done for the day. Done, done, done. All right, you guys, this is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. If you want the funding course, it's in the links. If you're looking for the trucking course, it's in the links. If you are trying to figure out how to create your own investment group and not break the SEC rules, in the links. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for your night. Nick Taylor owes me a tow truck driver. I'm gonna have to call him again. All right, you guys. It's your girl. Later.